Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Obese to Fit with Parkinson's. My name's Ryan Leniger. So it's the last day of February. It's February 28th, and I wanted to see what my elliptical rate was with calories per minute. So I set my goal to 400 calories, and I'll show you the results here in just a second. I think it's something I'm going to try to do to try to measure my endurance and stamina. I'm going to walk on the elliptical for a period of time and gauge that probably month to month. So I did 400 calories just to see what I was per minute and calorie burn per minute. And then I think that's the best way I'm going to be able to gauge it. So I'm also going to cover the different goals that I tried to reach for the month of February compared to January. February is going to be a little skewed. I was gone for about 10 days. This is my first day back to the gym, and I just want to do cardio. I'm not worried about muscle right now. I'm going to start that back up tomorrow with it being the 1st of March. And then I'll just go over my comparisons from February to January. I kind of like the point where I was at the end of January. Let's kind of recap. The first week of February was 80% max of January. The second week of February was 90% max of January. The third week of February was going to be the max of January, and then the fourth week was going to be a little increase from my max of January. So if I was, let's say, 100 pounds, my last week of February will probably try to be 105 or something like that. Whatever feels comfortable. Like I said, I'm not forcing it. I still have a little soreness in my left shoulder, so I'm really babying that with the shoulder press, and then also with my push-ups. I've done 31, 62 and 28, 90 days straight, but I did a lot of modified push-ups because I'm not trying to injure my shoulder. I'm just trying to keep some of the muscle build going. Might not be the right thing to do, but so far it's not an issue. If it becomes an issue, then I'll just the streak will end, and that's just the way it is, and I'll start over whenever if my shoulder begins to cause too much discomfort. So anyway, I know I rambled a lot, but this is something I think that's pretty important for me to discuss, and the reason why I'm doing certain things, the weights I'm setting. It took a while to figure out what my max weight was or my max lifting weight was. So from really April of 2022 to December of 2022, I was just incrementing a little bit each week, which worked out good. Now I'm kind of at a point where I know where my limits are, so I just want to kind of reinforce the muscle build with that 80%, 90%, and then the full lift. So anyway, that's just my thought process, and then I'm gonna do my wrap-up video for the month or my recap video here today, hopefully, and it'll come out on the 1st of March. So I'll talk to you later. Bye. One thing I forgot to mention was the repetitions that I'm doing. So week 1, I'm doing 10 repetitions at the 80%. Week 2, I'm doing 8 repetitions at the 90% weight. Week 3 should be that max out weight from the month before. I'm doing 6. And then the new max weight will be 4 reps, and I'm trying to do 2 sets if possible. I'm not forcing anything. I don't want to cause injury, so that's I did forget to mention all that. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'll probably make a diagram over the course of the next few months, and then backtrack it from January, February into March, April, May, June, just so you can kind of see that maybe hopefully there's a progression. But like I said, I'm not forcing it. I'm competing against nobody. It's just so I am moving and getting stronger. And another thing about the elliptical that I did at the end of the month, it's going to help gauge hopefully my endurance and stamina. Hopefully I'll see an increase in calories per minute. My goal's 20. I'll have to figure it out once I show the video and go from there. So anyway, I have my results here for February 2023. It's my recap for the month, and like I said before, it's going to be a little skewed because I was out of town for about 10 days. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how things went, considering I didn't do the full month of training in the gym. My eating was off a little bit for those 10 days, and I'll go through that here also, and right after I go through this. But there were some positives in some of the categories. One being the elliptical. I did 15.5 calories per minute in January. In February, I did 16.5 calories per minute, and that's typically on a 5-minute session. So I went through the long session a little bit ago. That ended up being, I think, 14.8 calories per minute, and that was for about 27 minutes. But the leg curls were the same. I got to the max point. I probably try to hit 110 in March. The leg extensions, I went from, my max was 105 and I stayed at 105, so I didn't have any increase or decrease. I think that'll probably be about 110. Next, I had the leg press. At the end of the last month was 230, and this month was 230. Like I said, a lot of these, it just landed in that week, right in the middle of the week where I was at that max level from January. So I did the 80%, 90%, and then that max level. And then I didn't get to the week where I would increase my weights at all, but that'll change in March. So I'm looking forward to March and seeing the results for that. But going through, we had the calves. I did 230 in January and I stayed at 230. The seated row, I had 150, 150. Seated fly, I was at 185 and I stayed at 185. Here was the wood choppers, and I kind of knew this would go up a little bit. 17.5 seemed like a good weight, but I went ahead and increased it to 22.5, and that worked out real well. The assisted dips and assisted pull-ups I stopped doing, and part of that was because of my shoulder. I didn't want to put any more strain on it and max out and risk injury, so I didn't attempt any of those for the month. The lat pull down, I was at 140. I stayed at 140. The triceps, I was at 70. And I just got to 60, so I was down 10 pounds on that one. And I'm okay with that. It's just, I'm staying moving, and that's the important thing. I'm not going for records. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, then that's okay too. But the thing is the movement. That's the important part for me. So the next is chest press. I was at 175. I went to 180, and that was +5. So the next is shoulder press. I was at 135, and this is part of my shoulder thing, so I don't want to risk any injury. So I was down 15 pounds there. The lateral raises, I was at 90 pounds. Again, that involves the shoulder quite a bit, so I was minus 10 pounds. Seated bicep curl, I was at 90 pounds and I stayed at, I went to 80, and so that was minus 10. Next is the bike. That stayed the same, 8 calories per minute, 8 calories per minute. Next is the 100 sit-ups and push-ups per day. I'm at 90, well, today's March 1st, so 91 days in a row on that. And a lot of that is modified push-ups. I'm not putting full weight on my shoulder. For calories, so the calorie intake was, my goal was 200. Well, I knew going into the month, 2,000. I knew going into the month it was not going to be that. I figured it would be a little higher being out of town for 10 days, and it was, and I'll go through that here in a minute. My weight went from 181.4 to 186.6, I believe that says. And so there's a little increase there, which is okay. That gives me room for improvement for March. So I'm really trying to stay in that 180 to 182 range. And then this one surprised me. On the YouTube channel, it's went from 19 to 34. So that was plus 15 subscribers. So I really appreciate that. If there's someone you know, if there is someone you know that you think might benefit from some of this information, feel free to share it. A lot of this is just informational stuff that I encounter, and I'm just trying to pass on to someone that may be new to all this and might be trying to get back in shape or trying to see what's good for movements. I'm not licensed in any nutritional or medical advice. It's just, or fitness advice. I'm not trained in any of that. This is just things that I'm doing, and it seems to be working. And if you feel like there might be, like in my left shoulder, I have, there's just a little discomfort, so I'm not pushing my left shoulder or my right shoulder. I don't want to train one without the other. So it's just light weights. It's a build 2. It's, I mentioned in another video, progressive muscle overload. So you're just incrementing your weight a little bit each week. But I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm at a max, quote unquote, max weight. So now I'm just trying to build on top of that muscle and possibly increase that max weight. So that's why I'm doing the 80%, 90% max weight, and then possibly a little more than max weight each month. And like I said, I'm going to probably do a diagram of what that chart will look like. So a few other things I wanted to mention were my caloric intake for February. This is something I didn't do in January, but this is through my FitnessPal app, and it breaks it down. I have it set up by the week, as you can see here, week view, and this tells me the calories I took in each day. And then this here at the end shows an shows an average of the week. So it was 2,000 was my goal. So I did well that first week. My average is 2,000 calories per day for the week. So some's going to be up and sometimes it's going to be down. The next week I have it broke down February 8th through 14th, and that was a little higher. That was at 23:39. That was the average for the day. And then this is where it spikes a little bit more. This is when I am getting ready to leave. So I left for vacation this day here. So I'm at 33.62. And so my average daily intake was 25.33. And then for the last week, let's see here. So I got back on Friday from Florida, and then we left, Thursday from Florida. And then Friday, my family left for Houston for my cousin's benefit fundraiser. The Graham McDaniel Foundation is what it is. And so for that week, it was $24.50. So now that I'm home, things have really settled down a little bit since we've gotten back. My calories, today's the 1st. We got back on the 26th. So the 27th, it showed that I was at 2363. And yesterday I was right around 1,530 calories, which is good. I was full for the day. I found this new cereal I'm gonna do a video on, and it's a protein cereal, and I like the taste of it. My son did not like it. He tried it, which was nice of him to do. I asked him if he wanted to try it, but anyway, it's good. It's 180 calories per serving, and it's 20 grams of protein per serving, so it's pretty solid. I like the taste of it. It filled me up. I had a couple bowlfuls yesterday of it, and then I had a couple smoothies. So I kind of scaled back my calories for the next probably week. I'm gonna hover around 1,500 to 1,800, I'm hoping, and then kind of get back on track for weight. So I'll probably try to get down to the 180 mark by the end of the month. We'll see how that goes. So the next thing I wanted to show you, one other thing was, bear with me one moment here. Next thing I wanted to show was the February 2023 weight fluctuations. And I just wanted to kind of track and see what, so I started at 181.4, and I was just kind of tracking throughout the month just to see where I was at. And I finished the month at 186.6, and I'm happy with that. That's a 5-pound gain for the month, and I think that will come off fairly easily. I'll be back in the gym, and I'll be eating my portions correctly again. I ate a lot of carbs while I was gone. And I did exercise every day in Florida, which was good, with my mom and some of her friends. And Heath even exercised a little bit with us, so that was nice to do. We were on the beach a lot, so we were getting exercise on the beach and in the water. The waves were good, so it was a little bit of resistance training, I'll call it. So. But overall, I'm happy with February 2023 results. March 2023, I think, is going to be a solid month. I don't have anything planned so far that I know of, so I think staying on track should be a little bit easier to do. But I also want to say thank you to my mom for having Heath and me to Florida. Also, my wife and Emma, my daughter, they were in New York for the time that Heath and I were in Florida. So I'm glad they had a good trip, great experience. It was a school trip for my daughter, and I was grateful that my wife was able to go with her. It was a great experience for both of them, great pictures. And then my cousins, the foundation that they started after the loss of their son, the reason we went to Texas was for this run/walk, and they raised 100. In my video for Texas, I didn't know the number at the time, but so far it's $185,000 that they've raised on this event. So just really encouraging, inspired. I can't imagine the heartache that a parent goes through when that happens, but the amount of good that they have shared with others, family, friends, and really the world is just incredible testimony to my cousin Stephanie and her husband Robbie and their son Mason and daughter Jules. So it's just hard to talk about. So anyway, I appreciate you guys watching, and I will talk to you later. Thank you so much for joining me on this recap video. And like I said, I'll have a Florida video coming out, my Houston trip video coming out, and then I'll have some other, I have about 20 videos ready to go. So this is a project that is just rewarding. It's just, I'm grateful for everything. So just love yourself and love your neighbor. That's all I can say. Is life's a lot easier when we can do that. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.